An organization faces many risks against its business operations, and in this video I will discuss different types of risk treatments and responses which an organization may carry out. Now, after an organization has identified the risk to its operations, then it performs cost benefit analysis of the countermeasures to lower the likelihood or the impact of the threat. And then best treatment or responses are selected out of different strategies. And this is the overall leadership decision, and understanding of the entire risk and its documentation must be maintained. Now, there are different strategies. The first one is the avoidance of risk, then is the mitigation, then risk transfer, risk acceptance, and risk rejection, which is actually not a recommended one. Now, once we talk about risk avoidance, then it means that you discontinue the activity which is causing the risk, or you don't start it at the first place, and you select alternate options to conduct your business. This may entails eliminating the processes or the technologies or the infrastructure, because the risk of carrying out that specific activity or using a specific technology or infrastructure exceed the risk tolerance level of an organization. It may cause a business disruption. For example, if you ban the personal devices like USBs, PCs, or mobile devices. However, it guarantees 100% risk mitigation or elimination, since you are not carrying out the activity which is causing that risk. So, risk avoidance means not doing it. Now, the next strategy for risk treatment and risk response is the mitigation of the risk. And it is the most common form of the risk treatment. It means to reduce the risk or to modify the risk to an acceptable level as per the risk tolerance level of an organization. So you implement the controls to reduce the likelihood of that negative event or the impact after that event has occurred. So you may implement the policies, or you can use different technologies. For example, for sensitive data, you may shift from single factor authentication to multi factor authentication, or use of encryption or firewalls. So, after doing this risk mitigation, you cannot eliminate the risk in totality, but you will reduce it to an acceptable level, and there would be a residual risk left. Next is the risk transfer, and it is also called risk assignment, and you shift the responsibility of carrying out the control measures against the risk or the loss of a risk to a third party. Cyber insurance is the one of the mechanism for risk transfer. So you transfer the financial risk to other parties in case of data breach of related to a customer, and you may get monetary compensation. So it is also a kind of risk sharing. So you cannot transfer 100% of your risk. For example, reputation risk will remain there and also the accountability. But you can split the financial losses by outsourcing the business activity, for example, using the cloud service provider or using security as a service. The next risk treatment is risk acceptance. So, after implementing the avoidance, risk mitigation, and risk transfer, you accept the remaining risk or the residual risk. Or sometimes the cost of mitigating a risk is cost prohibitive, and the control cost exceeds the loss due to the risk. So you accept the consequences which are resulting from a particular risk if it gets materialized. So it is the within the risk tolerance level of an organization, and leader sign off is must that why a particular control was not implemented, and who is the decision maker, and who will be responsible for the consequences. So the residual risk is a kind of risk acceptance. So after implementing the controls, you have reduced the default level of risk to an acceptable level, which is the residual risk. Now, last one is the risk rejection. It is not a recommended strategy. So, you deny or ignore the risk and hoping that it will never get materialized. However, 100% risk exists there, and it is not a due care or due diligence. Therefore, it is unacceptable, and there would be legal consequences for this negligence. This was all. Thank you.